Okay, let's start over here on Ois Hay. Um, so the Rebbe explained before why it is the Nefesh, Neshamas Yisrael, uh, cannot possibly go against the will of Hashem because the uh, the essence of a Yid um, is connected. It's connected and to Hashem. It makes no difference who the Yid is. It's the essence. The essence shines everywhere the same, and therefore nobody, even a lightheaded, will be ready for Mesiras Nefesh because he realizes that he becomes a nifra, that he becomes separated from Hashem. So nobody wants to be separated from Hashem. So the Rebbe is going to explain now, according to Kabbalah, the source where a Yid, that there's a special connection between a Yid and the Eibishter, even more than the Malachim. In Chitzonius Ak, and actually connects with Pnimius Ak Odom Kadmen, as we'll see, the Rebbe will go through in the next Ois, in Oisei. Ubi Roinyan. So the Rebbe explains now, explaining the idea, Masha beteva kol ish Yisrael, she'eina roitze ve'eina yochel liyis nifrad melikus, that he does not want and he's not able to be separated from godliness. So the Rebbe is going to explain that. Hine iso bi Eitz Chaim, we find in Eitz Chaim, the yesh nitzutz cotton echod boire, there is a small spark. There is one small spark, which is boire, which is the creator, which means there is one spark of Hashem, shemislabish benitzutz echod, which dresses us up in one spark, which is nivra hanikra yechida, which is created, which is called Yechida. Yechida, we know the Nefesh has 5 levels. Nefesh, Ruach, Neshama, Chaya, Yechida. In the level of Yechida, which is the highest level of the Neshama, over there dresses up that spark of Nivra, of Boira. The spark of Boira comes to the spark of Nivra in the level of Yechida. The Oifan his slapshus zu. How does it dress up? Sometimes you can dress up, but you remain two separate. You have a person dressing up in his garment, and the garment and the person do not become together. But here, the nitzutz boire that dresses up in the nitzutz nivra in Yechida is oifnis lapshazu shem nasim dover echad. They become one. So the boire and the nivra in that spark of Yechida of the soul become one. The boire and the nivra in the level of Yechida. And this is found by each and every one of the Yidden. That Yechida, that dressing up and connection between the Boira and the Nivra, that Yechida is found by every one and one of the Jewish people, mibli habit, without looking, nit kukendik, not looking al kochosav hagluyim, on not, we don't care about what his revealed powers are, whether his intellect, emotion, he's involved in Torah, not involved in Torah, what level he reached, we don't care. He still has that Yechida, he still has that spark, he has that koyach Boire within the Nivra. And also v'hoinyonim shemitzad shar hadalet shemes sheyeshlo, and the revealed powers and all other matters which come of the other four names that the neshama has, the level of chaya, the level of nefesh, ruach, and neshama. Those all represent the koiches hageluyim of the neshama. The part of Yechida is there by everyone, and notwithstanding how his other parts are doing, how his nefesh, ruach, and neshama and chaya are doing, he still has that level of Yechida. He has that nitzutz boida in the nivra, in the person, even if the other parts of his neshama are not revealed on the level of the connection, still the connection of the chida remains. So now he goes through that what we're saying here, that the nitzutz nivra has that chaya, the level of the neshama, which is a created, the level of chaya, has in it the actual boida in it. But so the Rebbe asks, because we know v'hinei af shehanitzutz nivra shorshoy mehakelim, the nitzutz, the spark of nivra, is rooted in kelim. Like we have the oir ein sof comes down in a level of oires, which ihu v'chayoy yichad, the Eibishter and the oires is one. It's an oir ein sof. And then there's also the oir dresses up in a keli. The job of the keli is to limit the oir so that the oir should be measured and divided in order to come in a restricted way. So here we're saying that the neshama is a keli to the level of Yechida, is a keli to the boire. But we know that the nitzutz b'nei af shehanitzutz nivra shorshoy mehakelim. Nivra, the spark of the nivra, that Yechida that we have, that comes from the level of kelim, which already limits the oil. As the Rebbe that Tzemach Tzedek writes at length, v'kelim inyonom hagabola v'hischalkus. The idea of a keli is limit and dividing the light of the oir. So if the level of Yechida comes from the kelim, how are we saying that it is one with the boire when this is a limited, this has the level of kelim? The Rebbe will explain that in the level of kelim, we also have two parts in the kelim. We have the part of the keli whose job is to limit so that the light can go outside, so it restricts the oir. It's a keli which is magbil umachalik the oir. But we also have pnimius hakelim. The pnimius hakelim is where the shoresh of the yichida is, of the neshama, and that is tied and connected with the oir in a way of essence. The Rebbe explains, Mikol mokim harei yodua, it's known sheshoirish haneshamis hu mipnimius hakelim. It's not just from kelim, but it's the pnimius hakelim. And we talk about neshama in generally, even though we say neshamas come from kalim, but we're saying that they come not from the externality of kalim, but the pnimius of kalim. But this is the whole neshama, ubefrat, especially bechinas yichido, when we talk about the level of the yichida of the neshama, sheshorsha hu me'oir machzav haneshamas. The root of the neshama is from the light where the neshamas have been carved out. Shehu levush lemachzav hasfiris, which the machzav, the carved out of the neshama, is a root of which the spheres were carved out. Basically, what we're saying is that the source of the neshamas is a levush for the carved out of the spheres. So basically, you have in Atzilus, you have the spheres. Where do they come? So they come from Pnimius Ak, and the neshamas come from Chitzonius Ak. The Odokad, the spheres Elyonis, they come from Pnimius Ak, and Chitzonius Ak is a garment for Pnimius Ak, meaning that the neshamas are a vessel or a garment to the Pnimius Ak. So even though they are the level of Kalim, they come from where the neshamas are carved out, but these neshamas, they're a Kali to the Pnimius Ak. Shehem, Chitzonius Ak, Upnimius Ak. Those are the two levels of the external of Ak and the Pnimius of Ak. The machzav haneshamas hu chitzonius odom kadmen, the place of where the neshamas are carved out. When we say carved out, it means where they come. You carve out like something where you take them from. So the neshamas are carved out. Their first source is chitzonius ak. Umechzav hasfiris upnimius ak, and the spheres are from the inner of Adam Kadmon. So the Chitzonius Neshamas are Chitzonius Adam Kadmon. The spheres are the Pnimius of Adam Kadmon. And the Neshamas are a levush to the Mechzav HaSpheres, to the Pnimius of Adam Kadmon. These are not two separate items that are separate one from the other, meaning the Pnimius and the Chitzonius Ak, which is the source of the Neshama and the source of Chaya, the Yichida, and the source of Adam, of Kalim, of the spheres, are not two separate. They're not different from the Elo. The Haneshamis sheshorsham mipnimius hakelim. But the fact that the neshamis, as we said before, they come from the pnimius hakelim, the inner of the kelim, which is the chitzonis ak, but it's the inner of the kelim. Hare pnimius hakelim. That unites with the oir that dresses up inside them. So basically, you have kalim, and you have the external of the kalim, and you have the pnimius of the kalim. So while the chitzonius hakelim are considered limitations and splitting up the pnimius hakelim are united with the oir. They're not divided, they're not restricted, the oir over there. The pnimius hakelim is connected and becomes one with the oir that is in the kelim. Hare pnimius hakelim hi miyuchedes im ha'oir ha'melush b'toicham. The pnimius of the kelim becomes one with the oir. And the Rebbe is going to give it the neshama. So basically, we're trying to say over here, the Rebbe is bringing out that while the neshama comes from kelim, but because it comes from the pnimius hakelim, the pnimius hakelim is connected to the oir, that it becomes one with the oir, unlike the general keli, chitzonius hakeli, which restricts the oir. The pnimius hakeli becomes one with the oir. The Rebbe is going to explain now. The kemoi shebegashmis, just like physically. Hare pnimius hakeli hi besmiches mokim la'dover hamislabesh boy. The inner of the keli is close. When you put in something into the keli, you put in water into a pot. So the pot is the keli, and the water is placed inside the pot. So for the water to be in the pot, the water has to be inside, though it has to be next to the pot. The commercial begashmis hare pnimius hakeli he besmiches mokim lahadover hamislabesh besoicha, the inner of the keli. So the inside of the pot is next to the item that dresses up. So the water that you're putting in the pot, that's the in the inside of the keli. The outside of the keli, okay, that's not. But the water, the things that goes in the keli, needs to be next to the keli. Basically, the part of the keli that holds the oir has to be next to the keli, because that's where it lies. And likewise, it's on the spiritual matter. Shepnimius hakeli hi miyuchedes im ha'oir, that the inner of the keli is united with the light hamislabish b'toichet that dresses up in it. So number one, the difference between pnimius hakeli and chitzonius hakeli is the inner of the keli, just like physically, the inside of the keli holds the item is next to it. The same thing is on the spiritual level. The pnimius of the keli, which is the source of yichida, is next to the oir, which is contained, which it's a keli to. But the Rebbe said there's more than that. Not only is it close to the oir is already the mispasha, the gilui that shines, but also the essence of the oir. Furthermore, that the pnimis hakeli shehi miyuchedes gam im etzem ha'oir, that it is also one with the essence of the light. The general light that connects to the keli, the chitzonius hakeli, that's just with the hispashtus, the gilui oir. That comes in the chitzonius hakeli. But in the pnimius hakeli, you get also the essence, not only the oir that shines, but the essence of the oir. The chitzonius hakeli, because when we talk about the external of the keli, she'inyono, what's the function? What does the keli do? Is kidei lahashpia l'chutz. The keli is in order to be able to give the influence, the flow to the outside. You need the oir to be mashpia. It has to go through the keli. The keli sort of limits it, the chitzonius hakeli, so that the light can go outside. Lashpia l'chutz. Hine levad zois she'eino miyuchedes im ha'oir hamislabesh b'toichet. Besides the fact that the chitzonius hakeli, the part of the keli which is to be mashpia, is not one, is not united with the oir that dresses up in it, unlike the Pnimis HaKeli as we spoke before, Harei ha'oir she'oiver derech HaKeli v'nimshach l'chutz, so what, the light that does go through the Keli and it goes to the outside, hu rak ha'oir she'nimshach el hazulas. That's only the light that extends to the other. What does it transfer? What does the Keli allow to? It limits that it goes to the outside. That is the oir that extends to outside, to someone else, to others. Hainu ha'oir sheshayich b'y hashpo v'hizgalus l'dover shechutz mimenu. That means it's such an oir in which it applies that you'll be able to give the flow and reveal it to something which is outside of it. Meaning, in the oir itself that you want to give, there is a part of the oir which is the etzem ha'oir. The etzem ha'oir, it doesn't fit to give it. It's not shaykh to give it to anybody. Where does the keli function, make a difference and limit? It limits the part of the oir which has a connection to the zulas, so it limits it so that it can go to the zulas. Masha'en came pnimis hakeli, but when we talk about the pnimis hakeli, so besides the fact that we spoke about before, that the pnimis hakeli unites with the light that's inside, he miyuchedes gam im etzem ha'oir. It also unites with the essence of the oir, not only with the oir which is shaykhs to someone to outside, but the essence of the oir itself. That etzem ha'oir, in a regular way of ishtalshlus involved, that cannot come to something outside of it. That's not shaykh lazulas in the regular way. And the pnimis hakeli unites with the level of oir. Not only does it unite, but it unites with the etzem oir, which oir which doesn't on its own able to come outside. It gives a motion. Al derech ha'hefresh will be similar. What would be the oir, which is shaykh el hazulas, and then the level etzem ha'oir? So it says al derech ha'hefresh, that will be the difference between hashpos haseichel v'hashpos hatipa, between the flow that is intellect to give an idea, mashpia haseichel, and the flow that comes invested in the tipa, in the seed. The hashpos haseichel, when we talk about giving over, being mashpia, the intellect, which is mashaharav, mashpia l'talmidoi, that which the Rav, the teacher, gives to his student. He hashpo chitzonis bilvad. That's a external hashpo. That is an external hashpo, which which is limited. It doesn't have. It's not the etzem ha'oir. It's not the etzem ha'oir. In other words, the hashpoah from the teacher. The teacher is giving his chitzoni is something that is shaykh to ishtalshlus, which is in his seichel. V'lochein, and because it's chitzoni is hine meshach zman lekoyim adaita derabe, and therefore, for a time, a duration of time, he cannot really understand what the teacher is saying. The Gemara says that 40 years, a person doesn't really understand the Rav. But so, because the Rav didn't give a hashpah from his essence, so when you're mashpia seichel, you're only mashpia level of chitzonius, and therefore it takes a time. For a time, it's not going to understand. It's going to take time for him to get it. Daf shehu mevin kol ma she'omar loy harab. Even though he understands what the Rav told him, he's talking to him, he understands. Mikol makoim loy koyim adaitu. But still, he's not going to fully stand on understanding what the Rav says. For 40 years, it took for a long time. Li yois. Shehi hashpoach itzonis bilvad. The hashpoah of intellect to the student is not the essence of the Rav. It's not the hashpoah atzmis. It's a hashpoah chitzonis. The seichel is hashpoah chitzonis. For the hashpoah chitzonis, it can take time for it to get. Mashe'en kein hashpoah hatipa, as opposed to when you give the seed, the flow of the seed, shehi hashpoah pnimis. That's an inner hashpoah. That is that it gives birth from the seed, that it gives birth similar to the person. That's his essence. The fact that the person gives birth someone that is like him, it's not just that it's similar to the way he is openly, to how his intellect is developed, emotions. It's not that the child will have similar qualities which are the revealed, the geluyim and the koichs geluyim, but will come the essence. The essence of the hashpah of the father, that's what he gives birth to. That's what he's mashpia. And that's why, because he gives his from his essence, that the son's power should be even more beautiful, better, greater than the power of the father. Why? Because the power, we're talking about koiches hageluyim. So the koiches hageluyim, the father is limited. But when the father gave to the son, he didn't just give him his koiches hageluyim, his open. He gave him his essence. And the essence of the father can be much higher, so the son gets the essence, and if he brings out the essence, he can stand on a higher level than his father. But that also comes from the power. That's the father gave it to him. It came through Dashbaz Hatipa. It didn't come on its own. It's not like the son can get things not from the father. What's the reason? So how could he get that? Is when we say that he gives birth similar to him, we're saying similar to his essence. Why is it? How is it that he gives birth that is similar to him, to his essence? It's because the father gives a shpa, not a giluyim, not a chitzoni. He gives him his essence. Shemashpia loy ha'etzem, and that he gives him the etzem. Ubo be'etzem ha'oir. That comes in the essence of the oir, not in the giluyim of the oir. That comes in the essence of the oir. That is united with the inner of the keli. So the pnimius hakeli, not only is it united with the oir, not like the chitzonis hakeli, but the pnimius hakeli taps in to the etzem ha'oir, the etzem ha'oir, the hashpah atzmis. Now, ba'av shegam ze bo al yidei chitzonius hakeli. But the hashpah, the etzem ha'oiv, also comes through the chitzonius hakeli v'hamshocha hi michutz mimeno. I mean, the father's the hashpoah of the etzem, but it goes through the externality of the keli, and it goes to the son. It's not like it stays by the father. That essence of, we're talking about the essence, the hashpoah atzmis, but it goes through from the father, it goes through to the son. So it has to go through Also the Chitzonius HaKeli to come, and Hamshocha Shehi Chutz Mimenu, and the Hamshocha is outside of the father in this example. But hine ein ze bo b'derech hishtalshelus. But when it goes through the Chitzonius HaKeli, it goes outside, it's not in a way that it goes step by step, in an involved way, step by step. Ki'im al yidei hefsek. There is an interruption, and then it goes durch a sprung, a jump over. Ki b'derech hishtalshelus. Because if it was in a way of involved step by step, so that hashpa atzmis cannot come in something outside of him. Because it's an essence hashpa. So in order, even though the father's hashpa from the etzem to the comes to the outside, it comes to a child which is outside of the father, but it's not in a way of ishtalshlus, but it sort of jumps over, so it gets there. It gets the hashpah atzmis that way. Likewise, we'll understand above in the root of the neshamas. The shorsham hu me'atzmus, that they rooted is also from atzmus, the nimshach al yodom gam etzem ha'oir, and through them, through the neshamas, they get not only chitzon, they get the etzem of the oir. V'hamshocha zu eino b'malochim ki b'neshamas davke. That hamshocha from the etzem ha'oir is not by malochim, but it's only by neshamas. The neshamas get the etzem ha'oir. Lefisha shorsham. And the reason why they have also the etzem ha'oir, they're rooted in the pnimis hakelim, shemiyuchodim im etzem ha'oir, which are united with the essence of the oir. And that way they're also united with the root of the etzem ha'oir. Midos from vanen der etzem ha'oir nemtzich, from that which the essence or comes from. They're united with the oir and also with the essence of the oir. Okay, we ran out of time. We'll leave it over here, and we'll be mamshich. It's kind of deep in yonim over here, so but we go over the best we can, and I guess there's room to chazer and go further. But we'll continue. Okay. Okay.
Also, bye bye.